It's the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for Thursday, September 15th. I'm Michael Groff. We've got dry conditions and very reasonable temperatures to close out the rest of the week and through the weekend across the entire Southwest. And then some uncertainty starts to enter the forecast as we go into next week. Some tropical moisture may come back to the valley. We'll get into all of that, but right now we're just looking at the sun coming up over Phoenix. Clear skies and absolutely beautiful if you step outside this morning. 73 degrees and the drier air is here. 37 on the dew point, relative humidity 27%. The wind is calm and the barometer is rising. Across the valley this morning, most of us are in the 60s. There's a few 70s in the favored warm areas. There's also a 55 on the map way out there in the open desert. So dry conditions and clear skies in mid-September. That'll cool off the deserts very quickly. Speaking of clear skies, that's what's happening across the Southwest. You have to go all the way over to West Texas or Southeast New Mexico before you find any clouds whatsoever. Radar is quiet. Even the watch warning map is pretty quiet this morning. Just some frost advisories in northern Minnesota and the upper peninsula of Michigan, say around Hibbing or the Marquette area. Coastal flood advisories in South Carolina in association with what was, very briefly, Tropical Storm Julia yesterday. That system has since been downgraded to a tropical depression and should just meander around off the Carolina coast the next few days before eventually becoming post-tropical. Convective outlook for today, marginal risk of severe weather extending from El Paso all the way up into southern North Dakota, with a slight risk area of severe weather in northern Kansas and central Nebraska today. Marginal risk tomorrow from Amarillo through Oklahoma City all the way up to Kansas City. Then on Saturday, panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma, as well as western Kansas, eastern Colorado sit in a marginal risk. And for the tropics in the eastern Pacific, look at that, starting to heat up. We've been talking about this for a few days. That could play a factor in our weather as we head through the weekend and into next week. Now, don't mind Tropical Storm Orlene. That's going to move to the west-southwest. Should not bother anybody. It's that X there that you see off the coast of Mexico, southwest of Acapulco. The models are trying to develop that into a tropical system and move that toward the northwest. That may pose a threat to us. If nothing else, could inject some moisture into the area. We'll just have to see how it plays out. We'll talk about that as we get into the models right now. The 06C GFS run valid at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time today. And it is just the same old pattern that we've seen virtually all summer. Troughing in the west. There's an area of low pressure moving into western North Dakota this afternoon. And generally, west-southwesterly flow across Arizona. That all spells sunny skies, slightly below normal temperatures, around 94 to 97. And a very dry atmospheric profile. Look at those low PWAT values. It just adds up to very pleasant conditions for the overnight hours. Again, tonight, temperatures will drop into the lower 60s to lower 70s. Can't even rule out a few places getting into the upper 50s in the open deserts. Tomorrow will be a carbon copy of today, as high temperatures will once again, we might add a degree to them, 95 to 98, and no rain chances. Some energy starts to break away from the main flow over the weekend, and by Saturday afternoon, a feature that we have become all too familiar with takes shape. There's a cutoff low off the Baja coast. Initially, this has no ramifications on our weather. We'll be dry, rain chances will be none, and we will have sunny skies, high temperatures 96 to 99. By Sunday, the low starts to retrograde, flow aloft becomes more southerly. So, warm air advection, moisture getting imported into the state, and can't rule out an isolated thunderstorm or two over eastern Arizona and up along the rim. Our rain chances should stay minimal, if any, at all, but humidity levels will slowly be creeping up through the day and certainly into the evening hours. By Monday, more moisture coming into the state, so scattered showers and thunderstorms will develop over eastern and northern Arizona. For us, about a 20% rain chance. Temperatures will come down a bit. We'll probably see highs in the mid-90s, really depending on cloud cover and humidity values, but it will certainly feel a bit more muggy out there. Moisture values going up. Look at those precip water values Monday night, 1.1 to 1.3 inches across much of southern Arizona and southeast California, with a swath of higher moisture going up the Colorado River Valley into southern Nevada. On Tuesday, our forecast confidence goes down just a bit. The European model develops that tropical system we were talking about off the coast of Acapulco into either a tropical storm or a hurricane and tries to move it up the west coast of Mexico, bringing some of, if not all of its moisture in here, just like Tropical Storm Newton that we saw a couple of weeks ago. Well, We're not sure that that scenario is going to happen. However, the European has been very consistent in bringing in copious amounts of tropical moisture to southern Arizona during this time period. GFS has been less bullish. Some of the ensembles have leaned a bit toward the European model. We'll just have to see how it all plays out. But for now, what we do want to emphasize is that scattered showers and thunderstorms will continue on Tuesday. Pretty good rain chances for us, at least 20% or so. And clouds and moisture will hold down temperatures in the low to mid-90s. By Wednesday, on this iteration of the run, the low opens up from the Baja and starts to move across the state. Broad southwesterly flow is at play, but a deepening trough of low pressure over the Pacific Northwest. Great height falls out that way, and disturbances possibly moving through the southern part of the trough spell out more moisture continuing to get pulled into the state from the south. And so look at those PWAD values Wednesday night, in excess of 1.5 inches over southern Arizona. And if that trough should have quite a bit of energy in its base, we could even see some strong thunderstorms in here on Wednesday. For now, we'll just go with a 20% broad brush forecast for the Phoenix area, and high temperatures continuing in about the low to mid-90s. Thursday, same situation. Broad southwesterly flow. PWAD values starting to thin out a bit to our west, but here we'll still be above 1.3 inches. Dew points will still be high. Upper air moisture will still be with us. So continued chances for showers and thunderstorms, especially over the higher terrain north and east of Phoenix, but we'll still have 20% possibilities or so. I also wanted to show you this. This is the rainfall forecast through much of next week. And we see a broad area of just light precipitation around much of the southwest. Now, of course, you know that the rain distribution never quite works out this way. Some places are going to get an inch, some places get 0. But you get the idea here. Broad-scaled, unsettled weather aided by tropical moisture moving into the picture. That's really the bottom line to this forecast. So we go ahead further. This is Friday, the 23rd of September. And we might still have some moisture around here. It's hard to say. We've got weakness off the Southern California coast. We've got troughing over the middle part of the country. And some ridging off the southeast coast. And I laugh only because here we go, the end of the forecast period, September the 24th, another closed low off the Southern California coast. I would say this is a very likely thing to happen because it's happened all month. Never bet against a streak. We've got troughing over the central part of the country, which is, again, pretty familiar as well. And maybe a push toward the southeast with the cooler autumn air. We'll just have to see how that pans out. But here we go off into the land of make-believe. This is September the 25th, a week from Sunday. Continuing with that closed low off the Southern California coast, high pressure weekly over the eastern Pacific, and a trough over the central plains. Pretty big ridge over portions of central and eastern Canada. Got the cutoff low off the west coast and troughing continuing over the country as we go toward Monday the 26th. And as far out as we can possibly go, here is the very last hour of the very last day of the month, 11 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, September the 30th. High pressure over the west, troughing digging into the central part of the country, maybe toward the east. All right, there you go. That's a look at the weather. Here's the temperatures through the next 16 days or so. Highs will bump up to about the century mark or so on Sunday, and then cooler conditions next week. Now, these highs could easily be lower Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and beyond, depending on how much cloud cover and precipitation we see. And low temperatures could actually be just a tad warmer next week also as a result of the added moisture. But here you see the idea is no major heat waves, no significant cool downs ahead outside of the rainfall that we may get next week. So temperatures at or slightly below normal through much of the period as we go on. That's a look at the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. The next video posted by tomorrow morning. We'll see you then. Thank you so much for watching.